So this question contains a bunch of variables, and what you would ideally do as soon as you see that, our instinct, because of our academic backgrounds, our instincts is to put pen to paper, or put pen to noteboard in this case, and start doing algebra. A question to you though is it easier to work with algebraic x's and y's, or is it easier to work with actual numbers? And the answer is it is easier to work with numbers. So traditionally you might have tried to define what C is with respect to A and B, and then try defining that from some other aspect, and then finally come out with this really weird formula. And after much effort and scratching your head, you finally come out with an answer which corresponds to one of the answer options. But think about this. Think about this. What the question is actually asking you for is, what is the value of this this variable here, right? And the thing is, we already have the answers in the answer options. We don't really have to spend too much time trying to figure out the value. So let's work by working with numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the equation, right? C minus A by C minus B. Sorry about that. So C minus B equals 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick numbers that will satisfy this equation, right? It seems simple enough, right? Like a grade schooler, like a fourth standard kid can do this. So let's try looking for numbers that will satisfy this equation. Let's say C is about 8, right? 8 minus A is probably 2. What divided by 2 will give me what will give me an answer of 2 when it's under 6. As you can see, my math is not that great, right? But the point is that you don't have to have great math to do well on the GMAT. What will be the value of B then? We need a number that is equivalent to 3, I guess, in this case. So 5, if I'm not wrong, 5 should be the right number here. Let me just check that. C minus A, C minus B. Yep, I think we're good. So that is equivalent to 2. So let me just use those numbers onto the one that I need the answer for. So 5B minus 5A by C minus A. What is that equal to? Well, B minus A equals to 3. So I'm going to say 5 into 3. And C minus A is 6. So essentially we have 2.5, right? Sure, I could have done this much faster, but even though my basic mathematics is not that great, you realize how efficiently, how quickly I got the answer. I didn't really break my head over complex algebraic equations or trying to figure out what different things mean with respect to different variables, and that's just mind-wrenching stuff. And I know that the answer is 2.5, right, without much difficulty. And that's the beauty of picking numbers. So when you see that there are when there are variables in the question, ask yourself, can I find a way, is it possible for me to define these in number terms? Right? If you can, go ahead and work with numbers. Make sure that the constraints are met. Work with easy numbers. Work with numbers that work with respect to the defined constraint. In this case, C minus A by C minus B was equivalent to 2. So make sure you pick numbers that satisfy that constraint.